When it comes to natural disasters around the globe, we're entering something that looks much like the end of days. We've got fires, we've got earthquakes, we've got hurricanes, and we're gonna be covering a lot of it on the show today. But we wanna give you a couple of quick updates on a few particular disasters that are going on in various parts of the US and near the US. So first of all, you've got multiple hurricanes, but right now we're gonna focus on Irma. The last that I had seen, I believe that somewhere between 24 and 30 people had already lost their lives. This is as it's crossing the Caribbean, and so you had Barbuda and the Virgin Islands, you had Puerto Rico get hit, a number of different places, Haiti and the Dominican Republic, and over the next few days, it's going to transition up into Florida. And if you've seen the photos of this hurricane, comparing its size with Andrew, it's amazing. I mean, that was a hurricane that people still talk about decades later because of how terrible it was, and it's far, far larger. It's going to cross Florida, and it's going to literally cover the entirety of the state as it goes. And you see there a rough timeline of basically when it's gonna hit different areas. It now has sustained 185 mile per hour plus winds for longer than any hurricane on record. Another scary record that it has set. The Rick Scott said that it's way bigger than Andrew, and there are multiple counties that have mandatory, let's stay on this for a second, that have mandatory evacuations in place because there's really no safe space right there. But here, this is something that 538 ran earlier today. It's when we talked about this a lot with Harvey, the chemical plants that were struck by the hurricane. You're seeing all of those hazardous waste, not manufacturing, but storage locations, hospitals that could be hit, and also nuclear plants. I mean, that is a number of nuclear plants that theoretically could be hit. Turkey Point is the one that we talked about earlier this year because of the likelihood that rising sea levels will eventually engulf it in just a few decades. And so that is a very scary situation. I mean, a lot of people are evacuating Florida. A lot of people won't be able to, and it's already hit islands. It's devastated islands. We talked about yesterday, Barbuda, more than 90 to 95% of the buildings on the island have already been destroyed. Many people without electricity. Puerto Rico had a similar situation, and it's expected that we'll see something like that in Florida as well. So we're gonna turn to other disasters in a second, but we do have to acknowledge just how devastating Irma has become in the immediate aftermath of Harvey.
So it's the largest hurricane ever recorded in the Atlantic Basin. Top winds came in at 185 miles per hour. It's a category 5, which is the biggest you can have. And category 5 is at 157 miles per hour. This is at a 185. And if the center was New York, it would cover an area from Boston to Baltimore. That is how gigantic it is. Yeah. And so just giving you context, that Barbuda story from yesterday, amazing. I mean, the island is almost completely wiped out. 95% of the buildings damaged. They were cut off from the rest of the world when all their communication was knocked out. You know, the scientists told us that some islands would sink into the ocean. We're in the middle of it right now. This is exactly what climate change looks like. We'll get to some scientist quotes as well a little bit later. And but one more thing about the dangers of those chemical plants, et cetera, like we saw in Texas. The authorities, partly because in Texas, almost all the Republicans in charge have taken money from the chemical industry, try to minimize what was happening. And they said they first reported as explosions because they were. They later changed it in an act of political correctness to pops that led to fires. That's called an explosion. And now cops and first responders that went are suing because they're really sick. And the authorities told them it's no big deal, just close your windows. When a chemical plant explodes, you can't just fix it by closing your windows. You can't send people in there thinking that they won't get hurt. Of course they will. And we warned you about that.
Just close your windows and breathe the oxygen that you've stored in tanks inside of your house.
So we warned
That's how air works.
We warned you about that earlier, and now the cops and first responders are taking them to court because they're hurt. And by the way, if you're a person who believes that blue lives matter, you should be really upset at what big government told you in the form of Republicans who told you not to worry about climate change, not to worry about chemical plants that were not regulated well enough. They told you didn't need regulations. Boy, do we need regulations right now in the state of Florida. I hope that they have good precautions on those hazardous waste dumps and on the nuclear plants.
Yeah, when you, again, regulations mean protections, mean ways to protect that community. And of course, as Cenk has just said, that community opened its arms to big oil and to chemical in the Houston area, and as a result, there were none of those protections. Now this community is different, and as we see this torrent of rain, this huge storm surge, is just a wall of water. That's why that storm surge is talked about as such a destructive force, because it really is the leading edge of the most destructive force. All of that is energy, and these hurricanes, this is the way that nature moves the most heat energy from one hemisphere to another. So you're witnessing nature moving energy. So all of that energy is played out in the velocity of the winds, the storm surge. And of course, then when this thing hits the mainland, it no longer is feeding off the heat energy of the ocean or the Gulf, of the water in effect, and now the release of that energy is devastating. We saw it in Texas and Louisiana, and now we'll see it across the Southeast. But again, it's all part of this climate change discussion, because that climate change is associated with the heat of the globe, and then the accompanying energy transfer, which is played out in these hurricanes.
Yeah. So I just want to ask Mark just a little bit more, because Mark's a meteorologist and does this professionally. Look, the climate scientists at Texas A&M, at Rice University, at almost all these major institutions are saying that yes, climate change doesn't necessarily create hurricanes, but it makes them stronger. It makes them have more precipitation. Can you explain why? Like, so for the average guy out there, he might think, I don't get it. Why does it make it more severe?
Well, it's a piece of what I was just saying, which is that the heat, okay, so the earth is getting warmer. That heat is played out in sea surface temperatures in the ocean. The ocean is storing, if you will, that heat energy. And then it has to be transferred in some way, and is transferred into the atmosphere. So it evaporates into the atmosphere. It moves into that layer of air. Well, that layer of air now has a couple of things. It has energy, and it has that evaporated water vapor in it, and there's more and more of it. So you have more and more rain, and you have more and more intense energy being stored there. And that energy, again, is played out in storm surge and in wind velocity initially. So I think what you're seeing here as the globe heats up is just the capacity for the globe to try to throw off this energy in every way that it has in the past, which is associated with, again, rain and wind and a lot of destructive power.
Yeah, and in the same way that in the water it's causing the evaporation, which is filling the air with more and more moisture, which is leading to worse rains and hurricanes. In the land, in big parts of the world, but we're gonna focus here today in the US, it's drying out the land. And so we've seen massive fires all over the country. I mean, California, just in the valley, in Burbank had some bad ones, and in multiple states in the West, you're seeing them. In Montana especially, there are some absolutely massive fires going on right now. Governor Steve Bullock declared last week that it's one of the worst fire seasons in the state's history. The National Interagency Fire Center reported that Montana had 21 active forest fires covering about 438,000 acres. And they have already burned through their fund designed to fight these forest fires. I was looking into it, and unfortunately, they had some other massive cuts that they had to deal with earlier this year, and so they took, I believe, about 30% of the fund away to forestall cuts in other parts of the government. And now you see there that we still got a good bit of year left and a good bit of fire season left, and Montana is still on fire.
So the fires in Montana have been going on for months now. They say that they will continue all the way through Halloween. It's amazing. I just want you to understand what Mark and John are explaining, that the heat causes the precipitation to go up. And when it does, it takes it from the ground, which makes the ground really dry. But when it takes it from the ocean, it then causes a lot more rain. And in the middle of a hurricane, it is prolonged rain. That is why in Houston, they broke the record for most amount of rain ever in anywhere in United States history. It is not a coincidence. And it's also not a coincidence that you're having these massive hurricanes at the same time as the fires. Because what happens when you have really dry land? You have raging fires. So I know that it's very hard for a Fox News host to understand, or a Republican senator, but because the precipitation is lifted into the air from the ground and from the water, you have droughts and floods at the same time. That's why it looks like end times as we look at it. But it doesn't have anything to do with God, and it doesn't have anything to do with coincidence. It has everything to do with science.
And scientists forecast and predicted this very scenario, that these things would become more intense. You can get bogged down and they throw a lot of stuff at you. Well, the ice caps are melting. That would happen anyway. There's cyclical stuff. But what has been forecast by virtually all the scientists is precisely what's happening. It's almost beat for beat. They've handicapped exactly what has happened from an atmospheric standpoint. So, as Cenk says, these intense events, droughts, and hurricanes, they're getting more intense, and on both sides. And as John says, that fire season has now extended itself. So they're dealing with not only more fires and not only drier conditions, but a season that's even longer than usual.
Yeah.
This is really, it's undeniable. And is it willful? It is, I think you said the Republicans, and I wonder, is it willful ignorance? Is it or are they just towing a party line? It seems so indisputable to me.
Yeah. Well, look, I have an excellent sense of what it is, and it's that the oil companies give money to the politicians, as do the chemical companies. It depends on where you live as to what gives you the most amount of contribution. Is it a coincidence that we can't negotiate for drug prices with drug companies? I mean, that is the most mental thing that anybody's ever heard. Why would the government say, no, I will give you a monopoly and never negotiate for better drug prices? That's unheard of. The reason you do that is because the drug companies give all the money to the politicians. They're the #1 lobby. And the oil companies are among the top 5 lobbies in campaign donations. So when they give money to largely Republicans, but some Democrats as well, those guys then conveniently decide, because it's in their best financial interest, that climate change isn't real. Now, that doesn't mean right-wingers in the real world don't actually believe it. They do, because Rush Limbaugh gets paid by the Heritage Foundation and the Koch brothers to spew the same propaganda. So that's why he does what he does, and the senators, they all get bribed, and they are paid to trick people into genuinely believing, and I think the right-wingers in the general population genuinely believe, yes, it's a hoax, the Chinese did it, the liberals did it, it's not true. Of course, it's not true until it's about to hit your house, like Rush Limbaugh, and then you run for your life. If you like this clip of the Young Turks, there's a whole live 2-hour show, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern every day, and you can download it or stream it and watch it without ads if you become a member. tytnetwork.com/join.